6 months after retiring, David did something he never thought he'd do. He drove back to the company where he'd worked for nearly 40 years. He pulled into the parking lot, watched people walking into the building, sat there for almost 20 minutes, then quietly drove away. He never went inside. He never told his wife, because he couldn't explain why he had gone. For decades, retirement had been his dream. So why did part of him suddenly want to go back? That question changed the way he understood retirement forever. When David retired, everyone told him the same thing. You finally made it. He believed them. His investments were healthy. The mortgage was nearly gone. He had a long list of trips to take and projects to finish. By every definition, he was ready, or so he thought. The first month was exactly what he'd imagined. No alarm clock, coffee on the patio, lunch with old friends, golf whenever he wanted. Every morning felt like Saturday. People would ask, "How's retirement?" David always smiled. "It's fantastic," and he meant it, until one ordinary Tuesday. He woke up, made coffee, read the news, watered the flowers, looked at the clock. 9:17. He actually laughed. That's it? He wandered into the garage, picked up a hammer, put it back down, turned the television on. 5 minutes later, turned it off. Nothing was wrong, but something didn't feel right. That afternoon, his wife found him sitting quietly on the back porch. She asked, "Everything okay?" He looked at her and said something that surprised even him. "I don't miss working." He paused. "I miss having somewhere to be." For days, he couldn't stop thinking about those words. He had spent decades believing his job was the source of his stress. He had never considered that it had also been the source of his routine. Every weekday had a rhythm. People counted on him. Problems needed solving. His calendar had been full. Now, the calendar was empty. And somehow, that felt heavier than the meetings ever had. One afternoon, David opened an old photo album. Company picnics, holiday parties, retirement celebrations for coworkers who had gone before him. He smiled. Then he noticed something. He wasn't looking at the buildings, or the equipment, or even the job. He was looking at the people. That's what he missed. Not work, belonging. For the first time, he realized retirement hadn't taken away his career. It had taken away the place where he felt useful every day. A week later, his neighbor knocked on the door. "We're rebuilding a wheelchair ramp for a veteran this Saturday. You interested?" David almost said no. He had other things he could do, none of them important. Saturday morning, he showed up anyway. There were 8 volunteers, some retired, some still working. Nobody cared what anyone used to do for a living. They simply worked together. 4 hours later, the ramp was finished. The homeowner rolled outside, smiled, and quietly said, "I can't thank you enough." Driving home, David realized something had changed. It wasn't the woodworking. It wasn't staying busy. For the first time in months, someone had needed him. The next Saturday, he came back. Then the Saturday after that. Soon, he wasn't volunteering because he had free time. He was volunteering because he had found purpose. That's when David finally understood why retirement had felt so different. He had spent 40 years preparing financially to leave work. He had spent almost no time preparing emotionally to build a new life. A year later, another retiree asked David, "So, what's retirement really like?" David smiled. "It's nothing like I expected." The man laughed. "Worse?" David shook his head. "No. It's just different. I thought retirement was about finally having nothing to do." He paused. "I've learned it's about finally choosing what matters." Maybe that's why retirement surprises so many people. We've been taught to prepare our money, but not our lives. The happiest retirees aren't the ones who simply stop working. They're the ones who never stop finding reasons to matter, because retirement isn't the end of your purpose. Sometimes, it's the first time you're completely free to choose it. If you enjoy this type of content, please like and subscribe to The Wealth Perspective for weekly videos. I really appreciate you watching. Thank you.